Welcome, everybody, once again to Haunt Chat Live. Tonight in the spotlight, we have Bobby Gammonster. Now, he's the host of Monster Movie Night. And while we're getting ready to pull him in, everybody say a nice warm welcome to the one and only Gravedigger.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome everybody to season 3, episode 4 of Haunt Chat Live. As Mr. Laurie stated, we will have Bobby Gammonster of Monster Movie Night on here, and he is a internet horror host, and it's really cool because this man has been around pretty much since the start of the internet. So we'll get into that. First thing I want to talk about, of course, though, is the giveaway that we have this month. This is a really cool, and you might see it up right where am I pointing? It's right there, the one and only, the smaller one, of course, because I'm keeping the big one. These are made by Richard Burrow, and they are really nicely detailed, corpsed and grossed out skull. So at the end of the show, Mistress Laurie will ask a question. The first response we get to, as it says right there on the screen, right below, huntchatlive@gmail.com, wins that, and we'll get all your information and everything. So, with that being said, let me get ready. How do I say? Okay, yep. Here we go. Are you ready, Bobby? It's Bobby Gammonster! Yay! Welcome, Bobby. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am wonderful. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Haunt Chat Live. Now, you've been around much longer than we have. Give us the ins and outs. First off, Monster Movie Night that's an internet, basically a creature feature. People are used to creature features. You show the old movies, some A, some B, some crappy, some good, and do the things in between them. Well, that's ones I've always seen, but and we do all that. But now you've been doing things a lot longer than just even the last 10 years, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Monster Museum, which I opened up in '88. Of course, I started collecting for that when I was 5 years old, 1960.
Blah, 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 blah. You know what? You don't want to give away the ages and everything, but yeah, okay. So the Monster Museum, where is this located at? Would you stop?
It's located in foothills of Virginia. Technically, we're in Claudville, Virginia, but it's right outside of Mount Airy, North Carolina, which most people will remember as Mayberry from the Andy Griffith shows.
Nice!
Awesome. We kind of live in our own little Mayberry here. Those of you that were tuning into the Sinister Sydney feed earlier, we did that rodeo parade going around. We have our own little Mayberry going. So, is it actually like Mayberry was?
No.
But that might be a good thing.
Nothing is. So this museum, is it in just a big building, or I know the answer to this. Do people just go up and see this building that says Monster Museum or something on it?
No. It's actually
Kind
in
of
our home, and it's actually in my childhood home.
Really?
It started out as a 2-room log cabin that my uncle built in the same year that I was born, which I won't tell. But later down the road, it became many, many other things. But one of them was my playhouse, my haunted playhouse. It had my first coffin in it. Actually, my first 2 coffins my dad made for me, along with some of my monster collection.
Awesome.
Got married the big time, got divorced, came home, rebuilt it, remade it, enlarged it. Now we have 10 rooms.
Okay, I'm getting people saying they're having a little hard time hearing you, and I have you turned up as much as I can. So if you could speak just a little bit louder.
A little bit louder, okay.
Because I got you turned up as much as I can. I know you're. Yeah.
He's been over here on the desk attacking my hands every time I move them. So yeah, he's better up there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got, like I said, I've only got so much control over your audio, so we'll just talk a little bit. I know you're a very laid back, calm type of a dude. We've chatted a little bit.
reach it out if I have to.
There you go.
Better?
I
Okay.
will find out.
What part did I leave off?
The childhood home had your first casket in it. That was really cool.
Yes, my dad, he helped me build my first two coffins. Then later down the road, I actually got three more real ones, two of which me and my wife actually sleep in now.
Nice.
Oh, lovely. I used to do that as a child myself.
And let's see, our family car is a 96 Cadillac Hearse. And basically what you see on the show is basically me.
And
Nice.
in our pre-show chat, I asked you about that. I said, okay, I was going to bring up, so how did the character of Bobby Gammonster come together? And pretty much your answer was, well, my parents met, and
Pretty much that's it, yeah. Not really a character, more or less. I used to say that most, not all, but some horror hosts were actors trying to be monsters. I'm in sort of reverse. I'm a monster trying to be an actor.
I got you. So a double threat. Now we got to teach you how to sing, and you'll be a triple threat. Wait, no, you can probably sing already.
No, nobody wants to hear that.
Oh, okay, good. So you're kind of like me. I fake it anyway, though.
That's why I've done one promo, and I won't do another.
Yeah. Out there, I'm one of those guys that pretty much anything you say, I can turn into a lyric and I'll start singing stuff. And you always get that classic, well, don't give up your day job. Actually, that used to be my night job. I was in rock and roll bands and things like that, but that was a long time ago. So that's why I sound like this nowadays.
Singing and me don't go together. I can't hear actual music, and I can't remember lyrics.
Well, that makes that tough then, yeah.
Yeah. People always ask me, what kind of music do you like? I said, none. Can't hear it.
Can't hear it anyway. Well, and that's why earlier when I was explaining the promos that I showed pre-show, and that reminds me, shoot, howdy, boom. I forgot to start recording. We're live, but that's okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Why I brought up what the songs were, and you were like, you didn't recognize them because you don't listen to music.
That's it.
Yeah, I get
That's
it.
okay.
Okay, so more about the Monster Museum. It is in your childhood home. You guys sleep in a car. And funny, I said I used to sleep in one as a child also, actually, teenager, but the coffin that I had, I actually got from our local horror host, Dr. Sanguinary. They had loaned it to me for Halloween, and I kind of kept it till our house burned down and lost it. Oops.
Well,
anyway, so
remind me not to lend you one of our coffins.
I got my own now. I got plenty
we
of
got
them.
plenty
Now.
of them.
We're good. We're good with it now.
We keep one on the front porch to scare off the young boys.
So go ahead with more. I want more about this. About your monster museum. What type of, obviously monster type things, but give me a little bit of the types of things people will see if they come.
Oh my! Well, let's see. A little bit of everything. We have life-size models, I guess you could say, monster models. We have small monster models. We have toys. We have magazines. We have books. We have posters. We have videos. We have a library. We have.
Goodness.
I actually have a laboratory in the back with my own undertaking mortician's bag that I got at a estate sale. It's got all the instruments in it, and even had the man's certificate. So I got those on the wall in case he wants to come over and feel like he's at home again.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And so yes, a little bit of everything. I'm not really a wax type museum or just a prop museum. It's sort of a miscellaneous. I kind of like to say toy, but that's kind of like not really. That's just sort of putting it in one category.
Memorabilia.
There you go.
Monster memorabilia.
Yeah.
That works out well.
Nice.
So how often are you guys open?
Well, we're open anytime anybody wants to stop,
Oh,
except for 12 or 2:30 in the morning. We won't open up.
yeah.
I'm assuming like our place, they call first.
Yes, that would be nice.
It would be helpful anyway.
Have you had people show up at your door at odd hours and just go, we want to come through?
2:30 in the morning.
Oh, no. It'd be like, no, bye-bye.
2:30 in the morning.
Go home.
I'm guessing that's an after the bar type of a stop in.
Yeah, I guess so. We also have a store out next to the museum as well called Gothic Charms. Basically, it's a witch Halloween store.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's open usually from 12 to 8 or 9, depending on the winter or summer months, and open pretty much every day or whenever someone decides to stop. But we have magic supplies, we have Halloween supplies, we have monsters, of course, monster things in it. Do tarot and palm, and I do some crystal ball. Do some specialty spells if they want them. A little bit of everything.
Well, that's pretty cool. I like that, and that's another. Well, no, that one's got regular hours to it, though.
Yes, yeah, about around 12 to 8, 12 to 9.
So who runs the store? Who mans the store? You, your wife, friends?
We have sometimes we have people come over. Mostly me. I kind of hobble out if somebody stops, and uh, it doesn't take that much trouble. And then plus, we don't get a lot of customers, so
It's one of those ring bell for service type places.
actually we have a sign that says "honk your horn" for service.
Oh,
But not at 2:30 in the morning.
No.
yeah.
All right,
People
so
are rude.
you got the museum going on, you got the store going on, all of this in or directly next to your place of residence.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing this since you were a small child, a small twisted child, and but then so how did the whole internet movie hosting dealio come around? The Monster Movie Night.
Okay. Well, actually, Monster Movie Night started out with a large screen outside and having friends come over and sit on our front porch and show old monster movies.
Oh, cool.
That's where the name came from. But I went, me and my wife and the daughter went to Monster Bash around 2008, thereabouts. Our first ever monster convention in Pennsylvania. And it was like coming home. It was like a sea of me. Finding long lost relatives, and everyone basically had the same story. They all grew up watching the same kind of shows and movies. They collected models and magazines, famous monsters, this type of thing. And of course, there were old movie stars, and there were makeup artists, and there were horror hosts. But there was one particular gentleman in the mix, and he had a camera, and he had a rubber spider and dinosaur, and he was going up to people saying, "Do you want to be in my movie?" And he would throw it at them and film them. Well, his name was David the Rock Nelson.
Okay.
I found out, and I thought that looked like fun. And he was having the most fun of his life. And I found out later that he's actually a semi-professional movie maker in that area.
I somehow I kind of recognize the name, but I don't know from what.
I couldn't tell you the names of the movies, but he's been around, and he makes his own amateur type movies. But he's been on the news and television, and he hosts a lot of Halloween things in that area that he's in. But anyway, I saw him, and then I met my very first horror host that I ever met in my life, and that was Penny Dreadful and her husband Guru.
Wonderful lady.
Yep. And we talked, and they were so nice, and they gave me great advice and encouragement. And I thought, I think I want to have some fun. My life needs some fun in it at that moment. And I'm like, okay, the internet is out. Kind of know how to work it. My wife, she's a computer genius and a graphics website designer.
Oh, cool.
So she made me a website. I had a crappy old camera, poor sound. Video was okay.
So who does this sound like, honey?
Like, okay, I have the museum, I have props, I have the lifestyle, I have my good clothes, which I wore only on special occasions. I actually won a Halloween contest at a drive-in one time, and I wasn't even entering it. So anyway, I had the clothes, and I had the name, Bobby Gammonster. You can't beat that for a horror host. So I'm like,
there you go.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought, okay, that's a natural fit. So why not? Even if one person watched me on YouTube or wherever, I'd be happy because I'm having fun and I get to share my museum and my home and my lifestyle to whoever wants to watch. So from that first episode to 10 seasons later, over 200 episodes this past March, and also, not tooting my horn a little bit more, but I was nominated for the 2020 official Horror Host Hall of Fame. I also won the Rondo Awards for Honorable Mention Favorite Horror Host, which is still, yeah,
sure.
You know that part, so that counts. So I'm thinking, I couldn't have dreamed of having a better go at it, and actually feeling comfortable in my own skin. I can actually go out now wearing my feel-good clothes, and people don't quite stare as much as they used to. At least
that's just Bobby Gammonster. He's that horror host guy.
Whip out a card and say, okay, this is why I'm doing it.
Hey, I have to give a special shout out right at the moment. I had mentioned about Dr. Sanguinary earlier. He's actually watching right now. So I saw him sign on here. So hey Doc, how you doing? We got you scheduled. So don't forget that, by the way. Anyway, okay, sorry to bust in on that little part there. So that was 10 years ago. Now
it's 10 seasons.
10 seasons.
Yeah, 8 to 9 thereabouts. So it's right now my season lasts a year. So at the first it kind of went 24 episodes at a time, and I didn't have any in between time. So now I actually schedule myself with a little downtime in the winter for a couple months and come back January through October.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And also you were talking about Dr. Sanguinary. I do a lot of crossovers with other horror hosts.
Well, he's not on. This one's not on the internet. This one's got a TV channel.
Yeah.
So if we've been on his show, he's a wonderful guy. We've been on his show, but yeah, you got to go in the studio with him and all that kind of stuff, or go to events. Besides doing the show and doing the haunt, we also do things at events. We cover conventions or local Hearst shows, things like that, and we've done a couple crossover things at those deals that we've both been at also, which is a blast to do. I love doing that. I love working with somebody else like yourself, like Doc Sanguinary, and having somebody else, when you got the normies. Yeah, and when you're working with the normies and you try to play off of them, it's a little tough sometimes.
Yeah.
If they don't just have that just right twist, you know what I mean? Yep. So when you started out 10 seasons ago, and I keep stressing that because when I first heard about you and started looking, I'm like, okay, cool. There's a lot of horror hosts out there, and now there's a lot more of the ones using the Horror Host Network or Monster Channel or this, that, and the other thing. And they're, anymore, they're becoming a dime a dozen, kind of like vaping clowns, But, sorry.
You
But,
digress.
but you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, you've been doing this way longer than most of these others have been out there.
Yeah, I believe so. Of course, for the internet, Count Gore Duvall was the very first horror host that came from television and decided, oh, this is a good media. And of course, when I first started doing horror hosting, I didn't know that there were any others around until I met Penny Dreadful, and I didn't know any of about Count Gore Duvall at the time. I didn't know about Halloween Jack or the Bone Jangler or so many others that have been doing this even longer than I have, much longer than I have, 20 years, 30 years,
Right.
40 years. And of course, they've helped me out immensely with advice and putting my shows on their channels and being on the show via video. And I've had a few people actually come to the house, come to the museum, and Danvers of Demented Features has come yearly for the last 4 years or so. And we do things here at the house and do gags and skits and things like that. So yeah, when I first started out, came out as of the coffin as a horror host, there weren't as many. There was more than I thought, but there weren't as many as there are now because a lot of the newer and younger people are going, oh, look, that's fun too. I want to get in on that. And I think I've tried to help anybody who's asked me as much as I could. The main thing when they say that they want to be a horror host, I say what all the other horror hosts said to me. There's no money in it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, you don't do it for the money, though.
No. No money whatsoever do I make from doing this. I even give away my DVDs at conventions. I don't sell them. I give them away.
Wow.
I think if I put money into it, I mean, did it for the money, I wouldn't have as much fun. I would be worrying so much. What I've got to make money. I've got to do this. I've got to do that.
Becomes too much like a job.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know that word, that J word. Well,
But,
and that's the same type of thought that we have both behind our haunted attraction and doing this show. Now, just recently in building the Gravedigger and what have you, I have started to have a little bit of merch, some pop figures, buttons, things like that. But not selling them to make money,
Right.
You make a buck or two off each one, which after a few lets you order some more, to put them out there.
Okay, let me put this in. I'm not opposed to getting money. If somebody wants to give me some money, I'll take it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do it.
Definitely get yourself a nice little well, I wanted to say sugar mama, but he's married. Benefactor. A benefactor.
No.
A denefactor.
My wife would kill me. That's
Yeah. Get some kind of denefactor, So, does your show, do you have sponsors or anything on your show?
Just us, Gothic Charms. That's the only sponsor we've ever had. I mean, I'm not opposed to having sponsors if anybody wants to be on or help out whatnot, but I don't go out looking for them.
I gotcha. So we don't have any sponsors. We have the giveaway that we do, and people donate things to do that giveaway, but they don't give us any money for putting this on or anything like that. We don't ask for any either. But just like Bobby said, if anybody wants to give us money, we're not opposed.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. So in the beginning, when you started doing, and if you guys go out and look at the website, I have posted a link to the Monster Movie Night website on there, as well as Bobby's Facebook page. Look at the website, and you go through the seasons, and you'll see the evolution of Monster Movie Night, how it started out with, tell Tell them how it started out.
Oh, let's see. Well, yeah. It started out, I didn't know how to edit. I didn't have an editing program, so I turned the camera on, walked in front of it, sit down, did my spiel, and then I walked off and cut it off. So you can see me doing all this stuff. So I'm like, this is like live TV. Okay. Except for I don't have camera people and I don't have lighting people and all the other stuff. When I first started out, I didn't know anything about public domain, again, how to edit. So the website, you'll see that on one side, on the very first and second seasons, you'll see I've got a little box with my shows in it. Over here, there may or may not be still a link up for the movie that I was introducing because I was afraid to put them together.
Right.
Then later down the road, about season 3, I believe it was, I got a little bit boisterous. I got a new editing thing. Learned how to work it, and I put myself in for only on the first part. I didn't have a second or a third part. Then I went a little later on. I put an end part to it. A little bit later on, I added a middle part. And now, well, you might find 7 or 8 parts in there.
Oh, the fun of editing. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that a little bit with this show because I had this brilliant idea. I wouldn't start doing my local recording of it until right before we started, so I didn't have to edit out those videos and stuff that we play in the beginning. Normally, what I would have done was we do this live, I download it, and then I upload it for the archive. I edit off that stuff and upload. So I thought, well, I won't start the recording until we get ready to go. And then I forgot to push the start recording button. So I'm still going to have to download it, cut out that section up to there, add that back on to put it. It's a learning process.
Yeah.
Hey, at least this time we didn't go 8 minutes where you could only hear the guests.
Yeah. Paul Body's perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's a learning process. We're only in our 3rd year. You'd think we'd have it done by now.
And it's fun doing it, learning it, experiencing it. Even if I'm able to live 40 more years, which I'm trying.
There you go.
I got outlooks for maybe at least 100, and I figure if nothing else, maybe I will be the oldest unliving and maybe I can get something about that.
But if you're unliving, do you actually age?
No.
Oh, see, there you go. And see, I would say keep those outlets. Locally, we have a woman named Evelyn Birkby who has the oldest running radio show in probably the world. She's been doing it since like 1956, a Happy Homemaker kind of a show. She just had her 100th birthday this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't it? And she still does the show too. Now they've cut down how often it's on and what have you, but she still does the show. So, there's a good outlook. There's some hope for you.
Hey, if you're having fun and you got something to look forward to, you can go as long as you want to, I think.
I think
that's the thing.
I think that really comes up to it. You gotta love what you do, or it's not living. Life is more than just surviving. You gotta have something to do that you love. And I love how you found your passion, you milked your passion, you went out there and nurtured it, and then you found an outlet for it doing the Monster Movie Night too. I just love the way that the whole thing built together, and you've been around and you've been growing with it. Even after doing it this long, you still continue to grow with it. And that's really cool.
Well, it sounds to me like it pretty much started with the Monster Museum. Is that where you kind of started this whole progression?
Yes. I mean, yes. I mean, when I first got my very first at 5 years old, it was a 10 lithograph haunted house bank. It had a little green glowing dark hand that came out, got it.
I know that one. I know that one.
I still have it in the museum.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Bobby, it's been wonderful having you on the show tonight. We have reached our half-hour limit. We always try and keep these to the 30 minutes. So we've got to put out, Mr. Slory, did you come up with a question for? I'm going to show this here real quick, just again to remind people what we're going for. Did you come up with a question?
Yes, he mentioned something very early on in the show that kind of caught me.
Now remember, this question isn't for you, Bobby.
Yeah, don't answer this, please. The Monster Museum that I just asked him again about, he told us what year he started that in. I want to know what year he told us.
All right, there you go. What year did the Monster Museum, did he start that in? First correct answer to hotchatlive@gmail.com will win that wonderful skull that we were just showing. So once again, Bobby, thank you again for being on season 3, episode 4 of Hot Chat Live. Monster Movie Night, everybody, look for it at Facebook. We got links here. Go to the website, like the Facebook pages, have some fun because he really is fun, and he does those little facial things too. You know that. Yeah. Bobby, you got any last words?
Well, as I say at the end of every show, keep screaming.
Thank you, Bobby. It's been a blast.